Hey, what's up, everyone? So, we're about to see the Sea of Thieves 2024 preview event, and I'm pretty excited for this. We're not only going to see what's going to be coming in Season 12 of Sea of Thieves, but also basically the rest of the year with Season 13 and I believe 14. However, I'm assuming, based on the timeline, Season 14 wouldn't come out until, very close to the end of 2024, probably around end of November, December timeline. Either way, I'm very excited to see what they have. Last time they did a preview event, it was basically just like a roadmap and some vague dialogue about what it was going to be. And then obviously we saw all the delays and stuff kind of extended that plan into 2023. So I'm very interested to see what we get with this. Hey, what's up, wolf birds? We should be seeing the owls come into the game soon, I would assume, because last anniversary we had, they announced with that whole like documentary that they had out that we were gonna get owls in the game, and we still haven't seen that yet. I was actually pretty surprised. I thought that would be something that would come in like season 10 of Sea of Thieves or something. It's been over a year, so I'm excited to see it. I think season 12 will probably see something come out. I would be surprised if they don't announce it in here, like show what they look like and everything. So I'm very excited for that. Otherwise, we don't know too much about Season 12, other than a few things that have been, I wouldn't say leaked, but teased inside of different articles with the developers. So we know there's going to be like new tools and stuff added in Season 12. So that could be new weapons or whatever. So I'm excited to see what exactly they talk about in this preview event. But I kind of just wanted to go live a little bit beforehand, hang out a little bit, let people start joining in, and then it's supposed to start right at 1 o'clock. So that will be exciting. I'm curious to see how long it is. I'm hoping that's a decent length preview event. I'm hoping it's not just like 5 minutes. Here's a quick roadmap, and just keep waiting or something. I don't know. I think with how 2023 went with all the delays and kind of the more lackluster updates, 2024 really needs to like be a big home run. And I have a feeling that they have a lot of big stuff planned. We have the PlayStation stuff getting introduced. I think with the PlayStation release, I think Season 12 lines up either directly with the PlayStation release or it's like a week off or something. So this will be interesting. This is going to be kind of like their marketing pitch to the PlayStation players as well. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Let's see, we got owls to expect for this. We have new weapons probably to expect with this. I would love to see some storyline content stuff be announced with this, such as stuff with Flameheart, probably the things with Tasha and Briggsy and all of that. I would like to hear more of that stuff. We talked about in last week's video, or it might have, sorry, I actually think it was Monday that I released that video, where we talked about basically they're still trying to get DeMarco back. That was kind of like the deal for the Skull Siren song. That's what that's leading into. It would be so cool if like they bring DeMarco back and then they bring back the arena with that. I don't think it's going to happen, but that would be so great because I feel like a lot of players actually really want that back, and I've seen people comment on my arena video that I did like 2 weeks ago, where like you have the PlayStation players that are looking at the game now, and they're really wishing that they could have played it. Wolf, you're asking what is my opinion on Belle? I really like Belle. I think Belle is a great character. I hope we see more with her in the future. She was really like kind of like the figurehead of adventures in my mind. So she was the person we'd always go talk to for these adventures and stuff. So with the end of adventures and the move back towards more of just, in-game like changes and stuff like we talked about in Monday's video, I don't know what the future of Belle is in the game. I could see her maybe going more towards like the pirate legend Athena route, making her like kind of like a secondary pirate lord, because she's already in the Athena's hideout and stuff, and part of that whole thing. I hope that they keep her around. I really like, you know, just seeing her in the game. I loved all the trailers with her and stuff. It was always cool to see her. She had like the little like buoy that she would like hop onto and then like go underwater and sail around with that. I always thought that was a really cool touch with her character. So yeah, I think Belle is great. Belle is great. I really like Briggsy. I didn't like Briggsy when she was first introduced, when we had like the original set of Tall Tales. Briggsy was always kind of just, you know, forgettable in my opinion. I feel like Grey Marrow really stole the show. Same with the Gold Hoarder during those original Tall Tales. But then as time progressed with the adventures, they really fleshed out Briggsy's character. So I began to really like her and like her like clothing aesthetic, the way that she talks and stuff. I think it's all great. Which is also kind of why I don't really like what they're doing with the world event changes rather than adventures or Tall Tales or something, because I like to talk to the characters and like hear what they say rather than just reading the dialogue. I think you lose a little bit of the charm of that. I wish they would do something kind of like what they did with the Monkey Island Tall Tales, where basically any character you go talk to, you had the dialogue still pop up, but they actually were saying the words that they were talking about. Cameron asks, are the devs going to add new weapons in the game in this update? Yeah, so I talked about that at the very beginning. So they have teased in different articles and interviews with the developers that we're going to be getting new weapons and tools added. I believe specifically talking about Season 12 of the game. So that's going to be really close up. So I'm very excited for that. What those new weapons are, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure they specifically said it's going to be new loadouts. So like we've gotten technically new weapons in the past with either the tridents added back in Season 3, or like even the Ashen Wind Skull or the Skull Siren Song. Both of those could be considered weapons. These though will be new things that you can actually like equip on your loadout, similar to how you have like the flintlock or the cutlass right now. Joseph says hi. Hello. How are you doing? Glad for that good amount of y'all are hopping in and joining. I wasn't sure if I was gonna live stream or if I was just gonna make a video afterwards to the event, but I just figured might as well stream it, have the reaction, because this is gonna be something I'm kind of going into blind. I know a little bit about what's going on with it, but for the most part I have no idea what they have planned for the year, so I'm excited to see like what they actually talk about. Joseph asks, what's my opinion on the new weapon set being a PlayStation 5 exclusive? So I talked about that in a video when that came out, but to kind of give the cliff notes of my thoughts, I think it's a bit hypocritical of Microsoft as a whole, not specifically talking about Sea of Thieves, to make this whole big stance about how they're ending exclusivity and console exclusives shouldn't be a thing in the future and stuff. So then to immediately take the Xbox exclusive, put it on PlayStation, and then make exclusives tied to that console just seems a bit hypocritical to me. And it's, I don't know, like, I really like the weapon set. I'm gonna get it. I already pre-ordered the game on PlayStation, and let's be honest, it worked. I'd love to know the stats of like how many people that either had the game on Xbox or PC bought a PlayStation just to get Sea of Thieves on there, because I know for me, I didn't buy the PlayStation for that, but I did rebuy Sea of Thieves just to get the exclusives cosmetics, as well as that they announced that Safer Seas you could play that without a subscription. So once I heard that, I was like, okay, then I'll get Sea of Thieves on there. So I don't know. I don't think they should have made them exclusive to that. I think because they're getting a lot of exclusives. It's not like we're just talking about like, oh, they got this one eye patch or something. Like kind of like if you played day one of the game when it launched, you got like the special eye patch that had like the little red number 1 on it and stuff. Something like that I think would have been fine. But they're getting exclusive pet with the parrot. They're getting the weapon set, and they're also, if you're in the beta that's coming out in mid-April, if you pre-ordered, you're gonna get like a new sail, and I think it might have been like a flag or something. So I don't know. I think that's just a little bit too much. It wasn't like it was just one exclusive item. It was like a whole bunch of stuff. Joseph says, your channel is so underrated, and I have no PlayStation 5, so I can't get them. Thanks for the compliment. I hear that a lot, and uh, I think the channel's growing, and I'm pretty happy with how it's going. 2023 was kind of a rough period for me personally. I wasn't too excited about the game. I'm really starting to get more excited about it, so that's why you're kind of seeing more videos coming out. I'm trying to really, stay on top of it, making sure that there's good, big, quality videos coming out each week, as well as like the commentaries throughout the week. So, been really trying to focus on that since probably back in December. You can kind of notice if you've been following for a while that like starting in December, you really start getting the push of like, okay, consistent ranking videos, big videos coming out, as well as like the weekly commentaries. When do you think we get Pirate's Life 2? Personally, I don't think we'll get Pirate's Life 2. I think they would probably push to do either original set of Tall Tales, or they might do a different collaboration with another group. Not to say that those characters wouldn't ever come back. It maybe would be for like a smaller thing, but I don't think we'll get like a whole Tall Tale expansion. That's like a whole nother story with the Pirates of the Caribbean characters and stuff. I don't really see that. I feel like it's more of like a one and done type of thing. And I personally am happy with what we got. I don't think we need more Tall Tales in that, Pirates of the Caribbean world. So, can you do another video about update ideas? Yeah, so we have the 10 update ideas that could have been for season 10 that, came out back in like October, whenever that released. And then I just did the one yesterday about the Hunter's Call. And that one, I was actually pretty happy with. I don't think it's performing as well as I expected, but I think there was some cool stuff that could be added to the Hunter's Call. Like I talked about basically recipes in that video, and I think that would be really cool, as well as like, Monster Hunter campaign and some other stuff. So if you're into like those kind of like update idea videos, I would definitely recommend checking the one out from yesterday, and we'll have more coming out in the future. Especially after we learn like what this is going to be, like what we're getting in 2024. I'm sure there's going to be more ideas that spot like, oh, they're doing this. This could also relate to this, this, and this if they, do those kind of things. So that's kind of why I was like pushing to get that Hunter's Call video out yesterday, because for all I know, we're going to watch this video and they're going to say, oh yeah, we have for season 13, Hunter's Call expansion. The whole season's going to be getting monster hunting campaign and this and this and this added. So I was like, okay, I need to get the video out before that so it's not irrelevant anymore. But Cameron, there's definitely going to be more update idea videos coming out in the future. But the roadmap I have basically for the rest of this month, as well as all the way through the PlayStation launch, I basically have it all laid out what videos are going to be coming up. So there's some more exciting stuff that's going to come out. I was really excited to get that costume ranking video out. I've been wanting to do that for a long time, and I'm really happy that's out. That was a huge project to undertake, just because there's so many costumes in the game, and there's such good ones too. It's not as easy as, say, like the season ranking video, just because like with the season ranking video, there's like seasons that are like really poor and there's seasons that are really good, whereas with the costumes, there's just so many great costumes that it was kind of hard to put them against each other. Joseph says, because the story of Jack and the Dark Brother is not over, as well as Rose and George's. Let me just mute that for a moment. Yeah, so I think the Dark Brethren story is going to continue. I think we're going to probably see, hopefully, Tall Tales with that in the future. What I don't think is going to happen, though, is that we'll see the Pirates of the Caribbean characters come back in it. Unless it's for some kind of like cameo, like let's say for example we have a new Tall Tale or something that's kind of similar to like where we went to that the third Pirate's Life Tall Tale, where you go to that Tavern of the Dam and we saw all the different characters from all the different Tall Tales in there. I could see somewhere where like we go there and we see like Jack Sparrow and something like that. But I don't see us getting a Tall Tale where it's, centered on Jack Sparrow and Pirates of the Caribbean characters. Not saying that it can't happen, but I'm just not expecting that. If we do get something like that, it's probably going to be several years off from now. Because I think what the game really needs right now is the original content from the game, so not doing the collabs. The Monkey Island stuff was pretty good. Pirate's Life was great, but it's been a long time since we've gotten just original Tall Tales focused primarily on the Sea of Thieves story. The last one we got was the Heart of Fire, and then the adventures started to fill the void in that place, but now that adventures are gone, I think we'll need to see a return of Tall Tales for that kind of story-driven content. So those are some of my thoughts. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I would not be upset if Pirates of the Caribbean came back, obviously. I really like all that stuff, but I'll answer more of that if you have more questions afterwards. But let's go ahead and unmute this and see what they got planned for us. I'm sorry, I'm going to be talking through this when I see
Welcome to the Sea of Thieves 2024 preview event, where we're going to give you your first look at some of the exciting features coming to Sea of Thieves this year.
Oh, that's cool.
We're going to share information around what's coming in Seasons 12 and 13, as well as even further into the future, with a sneak peek behind the curtain on Season 14. So grab a grog and get ready for adventure as we reveal some of the incredible bounty of features headed to Sea of Thieves in 2024.
I'm already really liking what I'm saying.
Sea of Thieves is a pirate sandbox adventure game where players create those stories together. And in the world of Sea of Thieves, there are tools and items that may seem simple on the surface, but when they're in the hands of real players who are playing in their own way and bringing their creativity, it really showcases that the sandbox is more than the sum of its parts as it creates these memorable stories.
This year, in 2024, our focus is on giving you more tools, more possibilities, and with that freedom out on the waves, give you the possibilities to have these amazing moments and really changing up the core moment-to-moment gameplay of the sandbox.
Season 12, let's go.
The kind of main aims for Season 12 are about mixing up the meta and how players enjoy all of the different aspects of Sea of Thieves. So as part of Season 12, we're going to be adding 2 new weapons and 3 new tools for players to use.
An area we haven't really delved into since launch is adding new weapons to the game. New weapons that give you new tactical choices and strategies out there on your adventures. So in Season 12, we're going to be adding the double-barrel pistol and throwing knives.
The double-barrel flintlock is a new type of pistol weapon where you can fire 2 shots individually before you need to reload, or you can charge them together and release them at once for a more powerful shot.
We wanted to kind of create this new weapon archetype that's a bit shorter range but a faster fire rate, but perhaps not as powerful or damaging as the flintlock pistol. But then it has those kind of blunderbuss-like qualities as well, where you can do the charge shot to release 2 pellets at the same time.
Accompanying that double-barrel flintlock with another weapon like the cutlass, for example, for a finishing blow can lead to a fast time to kill for a player to be able to quickly take down a target.
Season 12 also brings in the throwing knives as a weapon. Now, these can be used as a melee item. They have a light and a heavy melee action, but they can also be thrown and used at range as well.
You can use it to kind of like stab players with like a quick attack, but that doesn't do much damage. Or you can charge it to like pull it into this kind of more dangerous stabbing motion. That'll slow the player's movement down and give this like really high damage attack for if you like sneak up behind players. And then finally, it has the ability to kind of flip the knife over, catch it, and then throw it at distance against players, which, again, kind of feels like a trick shot, and it'll do a lot of damage as well.
When you throw a throwing knife, and if you miss, you can actually go in the world and it'll stick into any of the geometry, and you can just pull it out, and then it'll replenish your ammo. So I think, personally, for me, this is really good, because sometimes I miss, as I'm sure some of us do, so you can then just go ahead and pick it up again.
So you get these wonderful moments where a pirate might throw a knife at you, but then you can retrieve that knife and throw it back to them. It'll really mix up the kind of combat scenarios you can expect out in the world and when boarding other ships.
There are 3 new tools in Season 12, the Wind Caller, the Scatter Shot, and the Bone Caller.
With the scatter shot, the way that it's different to a standard cannonball is it's a collection of 4 cannonballs, but they're much smaller. They have a much shorter fall off in range and a really wide spread, allowing you to hit a target with multiple projectiles at the same time.
And it does really small amounts of damage to the ship, just like a level 1 size hole. So like really quick for players to repair, but it can kind of overwhelm a crew quite quickly.
Basically, if you get up close with the scatter shot and you can get a few onto your enemy, they're going to have a lot of holes and they're going to have a pretty bad time.
What it will do is really eat up an opponent's resources. They'd need to use more wood to repair the many holes that the scatter shot puts into the hull.
Oh, it's going to be hard playing solo, now that I'm thinking of it.
So the Bone Caller is an awesome new throwable that players can wield, and they can throw that on the floor, and when it smashes, all these kind of bones come out, and then skeletons spawn around the player in allegiance to them, and they'll actually fight beside the player against enemy players and enemy AI.
Now, you might not be going straight for just a normal cannonball or a chain shot. You might, in fact, go straight for the Bone Caller, so you can have some skellies that are on your side on that ship, sort of messing things up for that crew.
You could use fire to fight fire. So if somebody shoots a Bone Caller across the sea at your ship and they spawn in, if you have your own Bone Caller, you could throw that down on the deck and have your own skellies go and fight those to take them out for you so that you don't have to.
I mostly play solo, and to be able to spawn literally anything that is friendly to my cause while I'm playing is a massive positive. So I'm kind of looking forward to that, and I'm sure that other players will find ways to make use of it as well.
The Wind Caller is a new horn-shaped shell that players can blow into to summon the power of the winds. So imagine the scenario that you're heading fully into the wind and you're either chasing someone or you're trying to get away from someone. Now you can use this tool to blow wind into your sails and go even beyond full billow in speed.
Players can also use it to kind of knock players back off their ship or on land, so they can kind of target a player, blow into the Wind Caller, and it will throw them back into the air.
You can use it as a means of propulsion for yourself in the water, but also for rowing boats. So you can either use it while you're in the water swimming and you'll blast along like a really fast water boatman, or you can stand on a rowing boat and blast it out the back like a speedboat, basically.
You can put out fires and you can do it quickly. So you can just essentially walk around, your entire ship is caught on fire, and just put out all the fires as you walk around.
And they can even use it to like stop their fall damage. Like say you're falling a great distance and you use the Wind Caller below you, like cushion your fall so you like land safely as well. There is like a finite charge for how long the Wind Caller can last for, so you have to use it wisely.
I wonder how hard that would be to find.
So Season 12 also introduces zip lines onto several of the islands around Sea of Thieves. So you may have seen these as they debuted in the Monkey Island Tall Tales, and they're a really fun and exhilarating way to traverse. So it's really cool to be able to bring those to the wider Sea of Thieves world.
So we've been looking across all the islands of the Sea of Thieves and looking at the most ideal places to kind of mix up the traversal opportunities within all of the islands to add these zip lines across them. So we've added zip lines to like the outpost to get down to your ship quickly. We've added them to the skeleton forts that allow you to kind of zip line between 2 positions to kind of escape the skeletons or get close to them when they first spawn. Or just general kind of zip lines across the islands for like fast traversal and moving chests around the islands quickly.
For example, on Ancient Spire Outpost now, you've got to clunk down some cliffs in order to get to your ship. Now you'll be able to just go and get on the zip line and go flying all the way down to the jetty next to your ship.
Cool
so alongside adding completely brand new tools to the Sea of Thieves sandbox, there's also the opportunity for us to go back and add completely brand new functionality to existing tools.
So another cool new feature that we're adding for Season 12 is the ability to balance on harpoon lines. So you can shoot that harpoon line at another ship or another island and then jump onto it and then like balance across. Depending on the angle in which you fire the harpoon, it'll either be like too steep to climb up it, but if you're on the other end, you can actually jump on the harpoon line and like slide down it really quickly back to your ship.
We're really confident this will lead to some really inventive player boarding tactics out there in the sandbox, as well as giving you new ways to traverse the islands.
With all this that we're adding in Season 12, it gives players more opportunities to create those stories as we're really enriching the sandbox of every session.
So we're always really excited to add new tools and mechanics to Sea of Thieves, but we're always mindful that we want to make sure that the game's health is in a really good position as well, that the integrity of Sea of Thieves is there for our players. And since we're adding new weapons into Sea of Thieves, we're very mindful that we want to ensure that the hit registration in our game is as rock solid as it can be. And this is an ongoing thing for us as a development team. We're constantly putting time and effort into this area to try and make it as robust as possible.
In the past, we've borrowed time from feature teams to address issues in the core experience, but it's always taken a back seat to the features that those teams are working on. In 2024, this is changing. We're securing a dedicated team to focus on the health of the game, bringing fixes and improvements to the things that matter most to our players as soon as they're ready as part of our regular monthly updates. This is going to be a key focus for the team this year. We want your Sea of Thieves experience to be the best that it can be. Adding new loadout choices as part of upcoming seasons shows our commitment to making encounters between players a more dynamic and fun experience. But crucially, this all has to operate on a stable combat system. We know that there's still plenty of work to do here, but this remains a top priority for our team. March's update delivered Easy Anti-Cheat, an industry-leading anti-cheat solution designed by Epic. This solution evolves over time, keeping up with cheat developers, blocking them at every turn. This is really, though, just the first step at improving the player experience here in Sea of Thieves.
We want to focus this year on making Sea of Thieves play better than ever before, whether that be improving the performance of the game across the variety of hardware it runs on, ensuring that it's a safe place to play with a focus on cheating, but also ensuring that our hit registration is as reliable as possible in all of your adventures out there in the sandbox.
Yes, season 13, let's see. Flameheart.
So Captain Flameheart has been a staple and important character of Sea of Thieves for many years, appearing in our novels and appearing in our many tall tales and expanded fiction. With season 13, this brings the return of Captain Flameheart to the Sea of Thieves.
As Flameheart has been resurrected, so has his Burning Blade ship, and it's back in more monstrous and terrifying form than ever before. So we've reimagined it for season 13, and it looks incredible. It almost looks like a living entity itself.
So traditionally, world events have been at set locations throughout the world. The Burning Blade is a little different. The Burning Blade is a ship, and therefore moves around the world.
But the twist is, when you've defeated the ship, you have the option to board it and pledge yourself and your crew to Flameheart, enter into his service, and become the crew of the Burning Blade.
Oh my gosh, this
essentially
is be
becoming a player-created
awesome.
world event yourselves.
So obviously we have to go in big with this one. At a base, it is larger and more formidable than any ship we've seen on the waves.
This ship has 10 cannons. It has a statue room dedicated to Flameheart at the back. It has a balcony where Flameheart likes to take in the view every morning with his coffee. And most importantly, it's got a massive flamethrower at the front.
Players will be able to pull a lever on their ship and fire 2 massive balls of fire out the front of their ship, which is really interesting because we've never actually had an offensive weapon that's frontal facing before. So I think this is going to create some really interesting dynamic naval combat situations.
So once you take over the Burning Blade, you are on this really powerful warship, and you have a skeleton crew helping you as well. So even smaller crews have every chance of crewing the Burning Blade because the skeletons will come to your aid.
So you could have skeletons repairing while you're on the cannons firing at enemies, which is excellent.
But it's not just about sailing around the world, which of course you can do. It's about completing orders in service of Captain Flameheart. So around the world, there'll be numerous skeleton camps.
You'll notice the Reapers have been conducting excavations on the surface, and they've been dragging up all sorts of ancient artifacts and ancient secrets from below the surface.
Underground, there's basically a chamber with a prism that the players can control to draw out constellations on the ceiling in order to help the ritual come to completion and get that knowledge of the ancients.
Each of these temples contains the secrets of the ancients, secrets that Flameheart wants above anything else. And as part of taking control of the ship, you'll be able to sail around the world, visit these ancient temples deep below these skeleton camps, engaging new puzzle gameplay, discover treasures, but what you're really after is the Orb of Secrets, a new treasure artifact that Flameheart wants. collecting these secrets will add tribute to the Burning Blade ship.
The more tribute that you collect, the more value will be aboard the Burning Blade. But you will lose the Burning Blade if it sinks or when you choose to go and cash that tribute into Flameheart. So it's really up to you how long you think you can hold on to it with that risk reward, because everybody in the world is going to be coming for you. They're going to know you're in there and know you've got high value. So it really becomes this dynamic player-created world event with players versus players in the sandbox.
So even though you can visit these skeleton camps while in control of the Burning Blade, it's not only tightly wedded to that new gameplay. Players can also visit them anytime in their adventures. So should players visit these skeleton camps when they're not the crew of the Burning Blade, the skeletons won't be too happy that you've found a way inside these camps, and you'll be engaging in a combat-focused encounter to discover its secrets.
What's really exciting about Season 13 is the interplay of the features and the way that they'll bring players together and combine to create new stories. And whether you're the crew of the Burning Blade who wants to protect it, or everyone else who wants to take it down and steal that value, everything in Season 13 will bring you together.
Season 13 looks amazing. I'm so excited for that.
So towards the end of the year, we have Season 14, and while it's very early for us to talk about, we wanted to share some of their thinking here because it is totally aligned with this vision for what 2024 can be, this laser focus on the sandbox and mechanics that add to the variety of stories you can encounter in Sea of Thieves.
Internally, we're referring to Season 14 as Pirates of Mischief. Sea of Thieves has always had this playful, mischievous, and funny sense of humour. And with Season 14, we're expanding on that. The two main areas that we're exploring are new ways to stealth and new ways to cause mischief in the world.
So I think a real aspect of the Sea of Thieves experience that we haven't dived too deep into previously is the idea of being a stealthy pirate.
So when you think about stealth in Sea of Thieves and enhancing that, imagine being able to crouch and move around the world silently, or the ability to hang off the side of an enemy's ship.
When we were having these initial conversations about Season 14, the first thing I thought of was the cardboard boxes in Metal Gear Solid. Could we allow players to climb into chests, and if they choose, they can actually scuttle around with their little legs out the bottom? And also, if they choose to, keep the ruse up, could other players come along and pick them up like a normal loot chest or treasure chest or whatever, and take it onto their ship?
So another cool thing that we've been working on is the blow dart, which is another new weapon that players can wield from the armory and use that to kind of sneak aboard enemy ships and fire kind of these custom darts into players that will do different effects.
So imagine a blow dart that tracks whatever it sticks to, whether that's a ship, a chest, an item, a player.
Ones that could potentially lure skeletons to a specific position, so you can throw a firebomb in there, or explode a gunpowder keg, or darts that can trigger specific sound effects, which is quite evil and cunning, where you could board an enemy ship and shoot the capstan and it sounds like it's dropping, or shoot the ladders and it sounds like someone's climbing up them.
Gosh.
And then thinking about some of the ways that we want to add more mischief to the world, one of these is the idea of traps.
So much like the kind of blunderbombs or firebombs, we've been thinking about them being this kind of throwable trap that players can kind of throw into the world. Think of it like a spring trap that players can place on the islands to trap skeletons on a bounty or on a fort, or they could place it at the top of their ladders to prevent players from boarding their ships and get caught in this trap.
Along with these, we're also bringing a really exciting new tool, and it's the grapple gun, which is a dual-purpose rifle. So it allows you to traverse the environment much quicker because you're able to grapple yourself up to a ledge, for example, but you can also harpoon items and other players in.
So some of the new cool uses we've seen from the grapple gun in our early playtests are players firing themselves out of the cannon towards another ship to try and board them, and perhaps overcooking it and then using the grapple gun to fire it at the deck and propel themselves down onto it. Or jumping off their ship to an oncoming ship and then using the grapple gun to kind of grapple up and onto their ship so that they can board them and drop their anchor or have a fight with them.
To make sure that the grapple gun is balanced, it does have ammunition. You'll have arrowheads, and these essentially break off when you successfully use the grapple gun, meaning you can't continuously keep grappling. There is a skill to using the gun successfully and accurately and efficiently.
So when we think about 2024, we really think about getting to the very heart of what makes Sea of Thieves great. That is your stories, powered by that design philosophy of tools, not rules. Season 12, 13 and 14 are fully exploring that, giving you new options, new tools, and fundamentally new possibilities that make this game unique and special.
I think when you look at the year ahead for Sea of Thieves, our plans for Season 12, Season 13 and Season 14, it's kind of making this shift away from these big kind of systemic changes to Sea of Thieves and returning back to the core of what makes Sea of Thieves so special, the heart of Sea of Thieves, about giving players new tools to create new stories out there in the world.
We're ultimately shaking up the meta, giving players new tools to learn and master. And I can't wait to see what combinations players start settling on before we shake it back up again.
While everything that you're seeing today is still work in progress and possibly subject to change in some ways, we will be giving more insights onto how these things are developing as we come closer to launch for each of them.
With the richness of all these new seasons, and of course PlayStation Pirates joining us as well, it is such an exciting year for Sea of Thieves in 2024.
Wow.
Thank you for joining us for the Sea of Thieves 2024 preview event. We hope you've enjoyed this sneak peek at what's coming throughout the rest of the year. There's still a lot more to reveal for these seasons, so keep an eye on the horizon as we'll have more to share closer to each season's launch. For more information and to keep up to date with what's new in Sea of Thieves, check out our social channels. So until our paths cross again, happy sailing, and we'll see you on the seas.
Wow, that was quite amazing. Oh, this is owls. That's the owls. Yeah. Nice. Oh, that's pretty cool. Wow. I am very excited about all of this. So I can see a lot of people are joining back in. Feel free to put your questions about like my thoughts on any of this in the chat. I'm just gonna let this play again with it muted, so that we can just kind of have like some of the stuff in the background to watch. I slightly am a little worried for solo players like myself. I play a lot of the game solo. Some of this stuff sounds like it's gonna be very difficult to adapt as a solo player, specifically talking about boarding, because if you looked at it, you either have the harpoon that's going to be able to shoot over and you're going to be able to board that way. You're going to have that wind thing that's going to make it so that if you're a solo player, you know, like you have a galleon chasing you, you're not going to be able to get away anymore if they have that and stuff. As well as just that harpoon gun is going to be crazy. With that all said though, I am fine with the meta changing. I'm actually really happy about it. Because if you think about it, we've had this double gun meta that I have complained about in the past for a long time. That I've never liked, you know, the whole double gunning thing. I think this is really going to change stuff up because you're going to have people that are like, shoot, well, I could use daggers and a flintlock, that's great, or I could go sniper cutlass or whatever. And I think just that alone is going to be so huge for the game. This is the first time we've seen loadout changes ever. It's like we've never seen it happen before. I was already really excited for Season 12. Season 12 seems like that kind of update that's going to be like one of the best updates in the game because it's similar to updates we've had in the past, like the Heart of Fire, where we got stuff like the chain shot added and everything. With that though, I was not expecting. I was like, okay, Season 12 is going to be the thing I'm most excited for, and then they showed more, and they showed Season 13. Season 13 looks absolutely amazing. Like, it doesn't... I'm hoping there's more to it. It's just, you know... I hope there's a lot more to it. I think there's going to be. But just the fact that you can fight Flameheart's ship, and then you can take over it and sail it, and then you have skeletons on their deck act as your crew, is mind-blowing. I was not expecting any of that. And just look at the size of it. We talked about it in the past, like, people have for a long time wanted, like, a Man of War ship, like one of those really giant ships. You're getting that. And it's actually going to work in a balanced way. They figured out a way to make it work because the whole problem in the past was you can't have like this giant Man of War ship with having like 6 people on it or something, because it'd just be super unbalanced in the game, and you would have like the limitation of the server and stuff. This is a way to get around it, and that is so cool. But honestly, hearing this all, I'm kind of like most excited right now currently for season 14, because if any of y'all have watched like my gameplay and stuff, I am very much a stealthy type player. That's even partially why the channel is named AgentM, because like I kind of think like agents as like kind of being stealthy, like spies and all that kind of stuff. So that I kind of wanted to lend that into it, because that's usually how I play most games, whether it's Fortnite, Spider-Man, whatever. I'm more of a stealthy type player. So hearing that season 14 is going to be really focused on stealth, it just sounds really cool. I'm super excited if they actually get that chest thing to work, because that would be so much fun if you're just like, you get picked up and you get brought into someone's ship and you're just hiding inside their chest. That's amazing. And then you also have like just that harpoon, like not the harpoon, the blow dart thing, where you can have special effects. I'm very curious how that's going to work, if that's going to be another loadout into it. Because here, the one problem that I can see with this is like that harpoon gun that we get and this blow dart thing, if they're both new loadouts, so they have to replace whether like your cutlass or flintlock or something, it's going to be a lot harder to use that. Because like for me, I really rely on like the flintlock cutlass combination or the blunderbuss cutlass combination. So like to lose an item slot would be pretty bad, but if it's an additional thing to everything else, then that would be really awesome. Before I talk more about all that, let me go ahead and read some of what y'all have been posting in here. I know Joseph put this before it started, but he's asked about if think anything about Grey Mara was going to happen. I think he's quite a good villain. Grey Mara I like a lot. I feel like he will be someone that returns much further in the future. I don't think they're going to do anything with him for a little bit, because I think he's just been used a lot in the game already. He's been used in a lot of like the Halloween events. He's been used obviously still at the Fort of the Dam and the Tall Tales and everything. So I think they'll try to focus on Flameheart and that kind of stuff for now, and then they might return to him maybe like 2 years, maybe 3 years from now, if they're still doing this kind of stuff, hopefully. And then I don't know how to pronounce the name, but I'm gonna just take a guess, like Osiki, potentially. It says hopefully they previewed the skeleton bombs and the grape shot. Yeah, well, obviously they did. I like grape shot as a better name. I wish they kind of went with that instead of the scatter shot. But I think the scatter shot's gonna be super awesome to use. That's another thing that I'm a little bit worried about as a solo player, because they said kind of the intention with that is it'll cause more holes on your ship. So I could totally see if you're like a galleon or even just like a 2-man sloop going up against a single person sloop, having 1 hole compared to 4 holes, it's going to be a huge difference. So that'll be interesting to see. If you're someone that plays solo, you're going to have to be a lot more careful now playing the game. You have to be kind of doing better distant shots, like kind of staying away from them, because the way that scatter shot's going to work is you have to be a lot closer for it to really be accurate. But a lot of this is going to help a lot with the Hourglass battles, like reinvigorating that whole thing, because these are just going to be all new tools that really help bring that game mode and making that good again, to be honest. And then the skeleton bombs I think are really, really neat, especially even if you don't even take the gameplay aspect of it. Just imagine like you just throw it down on your ship and you have your own skeleton crew essentially. I don't think they're going to be able to shoot cannons or repair anything for you. I think it's just like they fight. But just think about like the role-playing aspect of it. Like put on the skeleton curse or put on like a skeleton costume. Then spawn the skeletons on your ship and you just get your screenshots or whatever. It'll be something really cool, I think. So let's see what else we got here. Harry says hi. Hi, Harry. SpongeBob SquarePants Gaming Channel says, just watch it, super hyped. Me too. I'm a lot more excited than I was expecting, to be honest. I, kind of thought it was going to be, it's kind of the stuff we saw for Season 12. I was expecting that kind of stuff. I was not expecting them to say what they had said for Season 13 and 14. So that's really great. Joseph says, you think the harpoon gun can be exploited for Skelly Thrones, for example? I don't know if I'd say exploited, but it would make it easier to get to them. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Honestly, the Skeleton Thrones have been in the game for so long that if you need a different way to get the accommodations, sure, why not? I think, you know, it'd be nice if, like, when that update comes out, like, even just, like, the Season 12 update is going to be the same thing. Because you're going to have the harpoon there. It'll make it easier to get to a lot of those already. It would be nice if they did something where if you had gotten that accommodation prior to these updates come out, you have, like, a special title that goes with it. But, honestly, I'm not too worried about the build. The Skeleton Thrones were just, like, a kind of small little event addition that just kind of stayed in the game. So it's not, like, a big deal, in my opinion, if someone uses this to get that. Flame Heart's on it. Pirate's Life 2, yep, no announcement for a Pirate's Life 2, Harry. I don't think we're gonna get that. If we do end up getting that, it will be a pretty long ways for that. I would love to see a Tall Tale or a set of Tall Tales focused around Flameheart. That could be done in combination with what they're doing with the gameplay, other aspects like with Season 13. That'd be really cool to see. SpongeBob SquarePants says, I love that we're getting getting a Assassin's Creed Black Flag update for Season 14. Yeah, okay, it took me a second to understand what you're saying, but yeah, Season 14 is right now currently my favorite thing, even though I think Season 12 is going to be amazing, and Season 13 looks like awesome in terms of, like, I was not expecting it, but it's going to be so cool now that I can fully see Flameheart actually coming into the world with his ship. They didn't talk about it, but think about how cool it would be if Flameheart was actually on his ship, and then you, like, could board the ship and fight him, like, you know, in a sword battle or something. I mean, that would be amazing. I don't know if they're going to do that. They didn't mention it, but that would be really awesome if that was a factor in it. But going back to Season 14, when they started talking about stealthy gameplay and stuff, that really made me, like, tune into it. I'm like, oh, you got me intrigued. And just all the stuff they were talking about that. Even just, like, the trap idea. Traps would be really cool to have. Like, imagine if you are tucking on a skeleton fort or something, and you have, like, all the loot in a pile, and you just go and you put, like, a trap underneath the treasure pile, and they go up and walk on it, try to grab the chest, and then they just get trapped in something. Or I don't know how it would work if, like, it holds them there for a second or something, or if it just instant kills them. I don't know. I'd be interested to see if they just, like, different types of traps that they do with it. But there's so many possibilities with what they could do with all of that. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, Grim Arrow is too overused right now. I don't know if I'd say right now he's too overused. I think they used him a lot back then for, like, older updates. But the stuff that a lot of the stuff that he's been used in is still existing in the game, like the Tall Tales and the Fort of the Dam. So it doesn't really make sense to add him to another part. I would be interested in seeing a new character get added, or even something like with Belle. Like, we talked about Belle before this preview event started. I would like to see a kind of an update that focused on something with Belle. Imagine if they did something kind of similar to what they're doing with Flameheart for Season 13, but they had, like, another ship that was, like, either for the Pirate Lord or Belle or something, where then you could have, like, these two massive Man of War type ships that could go after each other. That'd be really cool. They didn't talk about, like, what that artifact's going to be. Like, they mentioned in Season 13 that it's going to be, like, a new artifact that you can get while you're on the Burning Blade, but they didn't say what that was actually going to do or anything. So, like, usually, like, the artifacts like that, the horn thing that can blow the wind, or, like, the Skull Siren song, those are all different artifacts in the game, and they usually come with some ability. So I'm very curious to see, like, what they do with that. And the flame thing that just popped up on the screen, which made me think of it, having, like, a weapon that's in the front of your ship and having, like, the double flame throwers is such a cool. It's just so cool. I know I'm saying cool a lot in this stream, but all of this is just really awesome stuff. Joseph says, how do you think the wind thing is going to work, if it is a treasure item or a tool? I think just like how the Skull Siren Song works, or the Ashen Wind Skull, it's going to be a treasure item that you can use up a certain amount of it. It'll basically have a certain amount of charge, and then you can sell it. And I believe it probably won't lose value when you sell it, because they've made that change with the Skull Siren Song as well as the Ashen Wind Skull, where they don't lose value if you use them. So that would be really great. The thing that I'm curious about is how easily accessible that wind thing will be, because honestly, if it's super accessible, it's going to be kind of annoying in gameplay, just because if you think about, like, right now the game is really well balanced for the ship types, where, okay, if I'm on a sloop and I'm being attacked by a galleon and I need to get a little bit of room to, like, repair my ship or something, I can go against the wind and I'll be okay for a little bit. Whereas now that's completely changed. Now they can use that wind tool to basically push themselves up and either get further past me or at least get up to me. And even if they can't, like, fully catch up with me, they can at least get close enough to harpoon, and then they can just walk along the harpoon line and then, you know, board and anchor that way. So the meta is definitely going to change a ton this year. Not only with Season 12, but just across the board with all the different updates. SpongeBob says, hopefully Flameheart is on his ship and we can get to fight him and join his group. Yeah, that's what I was mentioning earlier. I think that would be really cool if we could, like, fight him, and then it could be something where it's like, if you defeat him in battle, then he lets you take his ship out for a bit and kind of do, like, what they were talking about. The fact that you can just, like, take ownership of the ship, such a great idea. Imagine if you could do that with the skeleton ships or something, like the skeleton fleet, and you could take, like, a prize ship or something. It is awesome. And it sounds like it's going to kind of work like what I talked about in that like 10 update ideas video that I did a while ago, where I talked about having, like, a grand maritime fleet that, like, kind of roamed around the world, and then you could choose how you wanted to attack it. It kind of sounds like this is going to be similar, where it's just going to be the Burning Blade's going to spawn in, and it's just going to be sailing around, and then you choose to attack it or not. And if you do and you win, you take over the ship essentially. So that's really cool. I love the grapple gun and the harpoon boarding. Yeah, the grapple gun's really cool looking. I'm curious if that's going to be, like, another weapon slot, because they said it has, like, ammo type and stuff. I'm wondering if that ammo recharges at all, or, like, how that whole thing's going to work, because that's going to be very interesting and kind of factor into my thoughts on it. So that would be cool when that does release. Yeah, the ancient lore is going to be interesting. So they talked about, like, having, like, those ancient vaults for Season 13 with Flameheart and everything. That's kind of like where you go and get that artifact that we were talking about. That sounds very similar to where the adventures left off with Briggsy and Tasha and all of that. So I'm curious if those are going to be, like, the same vaults, and that's going to, like, tie into the storyline at all, which that will be very interesting. Season 13 Burning Blade ship looks like same Ghost ship's Burning Blade. Yeah. I don't really... I think it looks a little bit better than the Ghost ship Burning Blade one, but I don't really remember it too well. It's been a long time since I've done the Ghost Fleet. I don't even think they have the Burning Blade in it anymore since they removed Flameheart from it. I love if it was Athena's Fortune for the Burning Blade. Yeah, if there was, like, a Athena's Fortune version of the Burning Blade, that would be really cool. To have, like, the Pirate Lord ship or something. They need something that's, like, really cool too, because I feel like isn't the Magpie's Fortune the Pirate Lord ship? That one's kind of just more of, like, a regular looking ship. They need, like, something that's, like, kind of on par with, like, how epic the Burning Blade is to, like, make it worth it, in my opinion, to do it. To me, it also looks like you can change the Burning Blade sails when you take over it. I didn't see that part. I don't know if that was anywhere. I mean, that's pretty cool if you can. Let's see if I can go back to, like, where they're talking about. See, like, this, just this throne room looks so cool, in my opinion. Oh, the ship is named Athena's Fortune. Oh, I guess, yeah, you consider the ship, that ship that's in there, of course. That would make sense. Joseph says the Burning Blade doesn't have the symbol on its sails. Yeah, I guess you can see like those kind of looked like the sails that were just on the ship there. Kind of looked like just regular player sails. Yeah, it's... I kind of wish that it was like kind of matching the theme of the rest of the ship. Those sails don't really look as epic as the rest of it, honestly, but they're still nice. I mean, it's still an amazing looking ship, so that's really exciting. I think that kind of wraps up my thoughts on all this. This preview event was a lot better than I was expecting. So much better than just giving us like a vague roadmap of like what's to come. Being able to see all this stuff. I wish we could have seen more of like what season 14 was going to be, even if it's just like concept art. But, you know, my imagination is loving all the ideas that they were talking about, so I'm all excited for all of that. Look at the sails, they're sort of like the Sea Dog sails recolor. Yeah, I think I see what you're talking about. They look a little bit odd to me. I think they just showed like a... There. Yeah, so like they have this concept art. I wonder if it is that default like you're saying, and then you could change it afterwards, which I don't know why you'd want to change it from this. Like, this looks so epic. And imagine if like the lava actually flowed from it. So like you have like the lava dripping down here, and it makes like the whole water area around it hot, like as you're sailing. So then if someone tries like to board your ship, they get burned a little bit. Kind of like when you're fighting one of the Ashen Lords and like all the water's boiling around it when it's doing its attack. It could be something like that. So like you're not instant dying, but you're kind of getting burned and losing a little bit of health while you're in the water next to it. That could be really cool. I don't know if they're going to want to make it that overpowered, but just look how massive this ship is. I'm so excited to like just explore what they have in here. Yeah, I mean, it just looks amazing to me. I'm really excited for that. You think the skeleton camps are going to be new islands or change to old ones? Yeah, so that's interesting. I saw that and I was like, where are they going to put those? I have a feeling they're going to be new islands. They look very small, in my opinion. So it kind of looks like they're just going to be new islands that fit somewhere on the map. Where that's going to be, I'm not sure. I'm hoping it's not just on the edges of the map. I'm hoping it's like kind of integrated with the rest of the world. But they might change some of the islands. Like, it wouldn't be out of the question. I could see maybe them changing some islands, maybe adding some new ones. Who knows what it could be. Like they did in the past with the Fort of the Dam. If y'all recall, before the Fort of the Dam was introduced, that island was just another skeleton fort. And then they basically rebranded it, texturized it, made it, all spooky and everything. So they could definitely do something similar to that. Hopefully it's none of the islands that I really like. But they look very small in the pictures that they were showing. So I am not expecting... Like, honestly, this kind of looks like a skeleton fort in my opinion, but it doesn't match, like, any that I recognize, like, in terms of, like, the layout of it. So, I don't know. I could see it being off the edge. You know what would have been really cool, though, with this? And I was thinking about when they were showing it off. Like, imagine if they had Reaper Islands, that if you pledged your allegiance to the Reaper's Bones, when your ship spawns into the game, you always spawn in at like one of these Reaper Islands. And then if you're pledged to, if you're not pledged to anything, or if you're pledged to Athena's Fortune, then you show up at the normal outpost. I think that would have been really awesome. Sad that they didn't do that. Seeing this, though, just makes me really wish that when we had that Lost Sands adventure back 2 years ago, I wish the Reapers won so we could have seen Golden Sands turn into one of these Reaper outposts. I like Port Merrick a lot. I think it's a really cool outpost, but it would have been really interesting to see it turn into like a Reaper outpost. Yep, to me it seems like they're going to pull a Reapers. I'm not sure what that means, but Burning Blade. I can't see it because it's blocked on my screen. Burning Blade cannons, sails on it said not sunk. Burning Blade. Harry, I'm not sure what you're trying to say there. But yeah, I think you're probably going to be able to change certain things about the ship when you're on the Burning Blade, probably the sails, the cannons, that kind of stuff. Honestly, it would have been really good for them to have done for Season 12 when we're getting all these different updates to the Harpoon. Like, they could have made it so that you could customize the Harpoon. I talked about that, I think it's been about a year now or something since I talked about it. But it would be great for this game because the game is so focused on like the progression. Part of the progression is like your cosmetics and everything, and just kind of getting a big library of cosmetics to show off and stuff. New cosmetic types would be great. Obviously, we're going to have these new daggers that are on screen here that they're probably going to have new cosmetics to go with the new skins and everything. Same with the double flintlock barrel and probably that harpoon gun. But I could have totally seen them do something with the harpoon on your ship and have that be able to be customized or something. Season 11 ends in... I don't know why. Okay, so from my perspective, the YouTube chat, they have like a little icon that's blocking like the end of the text on the screen for some dumb reason. But I see Ari said that Season 11 ends in 6 weeks from now, which, yep, that's going to be really exciting. I think that... I might be wrong. Doesn't that line up with when the PlayStation releases, April 30th? I think that does. So I'm very excited about that. I have a lot of stuff planned for the next month of the channel. And then obviously when we get Season 12 out, the whole game's going to change. The meta is going to change so much with Season 12. And even just the rest of the year, but really Season 12. I think the double gunning meta is going to come to an end. Because think about it, like, the reason you would want to double gun right now, it kind of is accomplished somewhat with the double barrel flintlock. Because with the double barrel flintlock, you know, you can do like the 2 shots, or you can hold the charge and get like a 1 really powerful shot. So if you had that in combination with, say, a cutlass, then you're basically having the same functionality that you have right now with the flintlock, but just an even more powerful one if you have the skill to match with it. Here he says, are you excited for the Stone Cursed Plunder Pass Season 12? I mentioned this when we had that Season 12 video come out like 2 weeks ago. I don't think that's going to be a curse. I think that's just going to be a costume. So if you look at the different costumes that are in the game, I'm going to just, you know, pull up my own video real quick, just because it's easy to see, and, you know, promo. But if we go through here, like, actually, even just look at the thumbnail. There are, actually no, there's none there in the thumbnail that I was thinking of. But if we go in here and we choose, like, say, like the Ruby Splash Tail costume. YouTube's just not wanting to play with me right now. So if we look at this one, this is not a curse that's in the game. This is just the costume. So I think what you're seeing for the Season 12 Plunder Pass is it's just another costume that has a stone effect on it. I don't think it's going to be its own curse that's separate from it. I could be wrong. It just doesn't seem to line up with everything else that they do. I mean, you can see the same thing with other costumes in the game, like the Shroud Hunter costume. If we look at this, I mean, even that, like, you could say, like, there's no, like, wood curse in the game. This was another Plunder Pass costume. But if we go, yeah. This is another costume in the game. There's no, like, Shrouded Ghost curse that makes your skin, like, all white like this. So, I don't really see us getting a new curse, at least for that stone, which you're talking about. Would there be new curses in Season 12 or 13 or 14? There could be, but not that, I don't think. James asks, what are you most excited for about this preview? Let me first start off with saying, like, what I am most excited about with each of the different seasons, because I feel like that's a little bit easier to break it up. with Season 12, I'm most excited for the updates to the Harpoon. Being able to harpoon another ship and being able to run across it, or even just going on the different islands or whatever, it's going to be making being able to move around so much better. And it just looks like so much fun. I can't wait to be basically, when you have someone that's running away from you and you're trying to board them or whatever, you're just going to be able to harpoon them and like run across it. And they'll be able to shoot back at you and everything. But it's just going to be so much more fun to do that kind of stuff rather than just endlessly chasing them or trying to do a quick turn, shoot off, and try to board them. It's going to change that meta a lot, which I'm really excited about with Season 12. Season 13, honestly, I'm just super excited to just be able to sail around on the Burning Blade and being able to use that and have like a skeleton crew with me and everything. That is going to be awesome. And then Season 14, honestly, it's a toss-up between that blow dart weapon that they were talking about and the hiding as a chest and then like being able to get picked up and moved around and stuff. I think hiding in the chest is going to just be so funny in terms of like clips and stuff. Like I could totally imagine like me tucking at a Fort of the Dam or Skeleton Fort or something and just like hiding as a chest and then getting picked up and carried. My only worry about with that specifically is that if it's acts as like kind of like how the barrel hide emote works, if it always looks the exact same, then it's going to be easy to tell the difference. So like let's say it always looks like a castaway chest, then all you have to do is just make sure you don't either pick up any castaway chest or you try to use your sword against any castaway chest that you see. Now if they make it so that it's kind of either random or you could choose which type it is, so like you can make it look like you're a chest of fortune, or you can make it look like you're a marauder chest. If you could change that, then that will be really fun to do. And then you won't be able to trust any treasure, and it will really help with that stealth type gameplay they're talking about. Joseph's asked, yeah, but the thing from the Plunder Pass looks like it has some very generic clothing. Let's go back on the channel. And I can show you what that Season 12 Plunder Pass looks like. So yeah, it's in the end of this video. They do this with some of the Plunder Passes. It might even just be like the very beginning costume. Because usually they do like 3 different versions of the costume for the Plunder Pass. And that literally might just be the most basic version of it. Let's see if we can find it. It's somewhere. There we go. Yeah, that looks like a costume, and you have like the headpiece there. Well, see, I see what you're saying now, honestly. So I didn't notice that this person also had the same headpiece. Oh, no. Wait. This looks like it's going to be the first version of the costume, because you have like a little bit of the stone taking over. I could see it maybe being 3 different versions, and then you're fully the stone person at the end. I get what you're saying though. This is like a very basic looking outfit. I don't know. If it's a curse, I would love it. I would really love it if it was a curse, because I would definitely use that. If it's not though, I still think it's a pretty cool costume. I would be very interested if it is a curse, if it works something like how I talked about this. I don't remember what video it was. But I had an idea essentially basically that you could get either a new gold curse or update the old gold curse, and it could be reactive essentially. So based off how much treasure you had on your ship, the gold would take over more of your body. Now, it would be really cool if they did something similar to like this, what they're doing with the stone curse, where you can see like it's kind of taken over part of the body here, and maybe it's based on whatever factor. Maybe it's how long you're in the game for, like maybe your session time. It could potentially be like, okay, when you start off the game, you start off with just a little bit of stone, but then when you're like an hour in, you're a fully stone character or something. I could see that being like a cool reactive curse. But I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. It'd be very different for a Plunder Pass, and honestly, I wouldn't really like the idea of having a curse be limited to a Plunder Pass. I would much prefer seeing curses stay within the game and accessible and not be paid for by the Pirate Emporium. So that's my other thought with that. What else do we have here? We have I want to see a new sea monster. What are your thoughts? Yeah, I talked about that in yesterday's video, James, about basically having like a monster hunting campaign that would be an expansion to the Hunter's Call, where it would kind of act similar to like how the Legend of the Veil is, and it'd be more of like a story campaign, and you'd have different voyages within that. So like the first one would be like a Megalodon sea monster hunt, and then you kind of work up your way, like, and you have like maybe like a crab monster that you could fight. Obviously you'd have the Kraken still. I could maybe even see like a siren thing, or even like something like this, like a Medusa type thing would be really cool. You're excited? Season 13 during Burning Blade. Season 13 release date and Season 13. Yeah, Harry, I'm not sure what you're trying to say here with all of that, if you want to kind of rephrase your question. But I'll give it like another few minutes. Feel free to put any more questions you have in the game or in the chat. I'm really happy to see like there's about 21 of you here watching right now. Thanks for hopping in, hanging out for a bit. I'm really excited for what's coming up with Season 12, 13, 14. I'm really hoping there's not big delays with the game. I'm a little bit worried that Season 12 might be really long and that Season 13 is going to get delayed just based off the prior 2 years of the game. Hopefully that's not what's going to happen, but it might. So we'll have to wait and see. But let me know in the chat real quick, or I might even be able to make let's do a poll real quick before we end this. And just what season are you most excited for? Just give me 1 second to add this, and then you'll be able to vote in the chat here. Alright. Go ahead and put that in. Be interested to see what y'all are really enjoying with all of this. Looks like Season 13 is already in the lead right now. I'm really hoping that we see like a lot of storyline stuff with Season 13 with Flameheart returning. Like, it'd be really cool if they did something similar to like what Fortnite's doing right now for their new season. They're doing like these little short clips that basically show different characters and like the return of Midas and everything. And these clips, like, they kind of go hard, not gonna lie. And I would love to see Fortnite do something like that, kind of like what they did with the adventure trailers. They could do something similar, and I'm just gonna show like this Midas one, like this is just cool. Like, if they could do more trailers like this in Sea of Thieves, and like for like Flameheart's return, it would really hype up everyone. I think just have like Season 12 trailer, be like a fully epic thing with Flameheart coming in, and maybe like have Flameheart's ship rising from the water as like his return or something. I don't know, but they did like a trailer like that, and they have like this one where it's like a full cinematic clip. I would love to see something like this return to Sea of Thieves. They did it with the adventures for a bit, and like the orb event and everything. It'd be cool to see more stuff like this in the game. But Season 13 looks like it's in the lead. Or yeah, it's still in the lead here. Season 12, Season 14 still kind of even with it. I think Season 12, I think people are gonna view that as kind of in some ways a boring update, but it's gonna be so good for the game because it's boring update in the sense that it's like it's not Flameheart returning. It's kind of giving new tools, but it's not like adding like a giant Flameheart ship, or it's not adding like new locations or new voyages or anything. But it is going to fundamentally change the game. So I'm very excited about that. This is the kind of updates that we've needed in the game for a long time. This is what like Season 9, 10 should have been. So this is going to be really great for the game. I'm very excited to get my hands on it. Another like minute or two to get any last minute questions in. But it looks like Season 13 is still in the lead, with Season 12 in second place and Season 14 in the last place. Season 14, like, I feel like the hard part with that one is you can't really see much of it because they don't have too much, like, the show of it yet. A lot of it was just them talking about, like, the blow dart and, like, the traps and everything, but we didn't see anything with it. So I think it's a little bit harder to be super excited about that. But for me, as someone that's really, like, a stealthy type of player, and I enjoy, you know, hiding on people's ships, tucking and everything, these kind of new tools that they're adding for Season 14 are going to be fantastic. Season 14, how long? Or I think, Harry, you're asking how long till Season 14. Like I said a lot earlier, we probably won't be seeing Season 14 to like the very near end of the year if there aren't any delays with either Season 13 or 14. So I would expect somewhere around the end of November to beginning of December. That'd be my prediction with that. But with that all said, thanks to all y'all that hopped in and hung out here for a bit. I'm probably going to try to edit a video for this soon, just kind of covering all this. I'll probably come out tomorrow, honestly. I don't think I'm going to try to push it to come out today, just because of time constraints. But that's pretty much it. Thanks to all of y'all for hanging out, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, y'all.